All right, now we have audio. There we go. Welcome, guys, to the live show. Obviously, a slightly different setup than the usual live shows today, so something was bound to go wrong, and hopefully that was it right off the bat. A pair of supposedly fresh microphone batteries decided to die just as I started the stream, even though I just recharged them. So yeah, but anyway, hopefully you guys can hear me now. I see Gary's here in the chat, says no microphone yet. So Gary, let me know if you can hear me now. It looks like everything should be good. So there we go. But assuming everything is working, I want to welcome you guys to the live show, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time once again. And like I said, we're doing something a little bit different today. I managed to figure out how to set up my studio space to be able to live stream. So fingers crossed everything works. But the reason for that is because we're going to be taking a look at something that was a little bit too big to fit on my desk upstairs. And that is this guy right here. It is the edelkrone SliderPlus Pro and their motion kit that they came out with. I guess it was probably a little over a year ago, if I were to guess. I recently picked it up and have been using it and really liking it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this guy, show you an overview of it today. But the other big news is that edelkrone has already basically upgraded this, or at least this head module part of it. And they have a new product out that I'm going to preview with you guys because it's not available until October. But I will share that with you guys too because I'm excited about that, just as excited as I was about this. So first and foremost, a little bit of housekeeping. If it is your first time here to the channel, thank you very much for coming and joining us. Please make sure to go ahead and subscribe down below and click that notification bell so you'll be alerted whenever I have live streams or random videos or reviews coming out. So I really appreciate that. And of course, this particular show today is a live show, which means that you guys get to engage with me, ask me questions, converse with me. You know, that's the whole fun of live, and I have the ability, sorry I'm running on a laptop here today, so I'm not quite as smooth with my switching as usual, but if I do this properly, oh, no, of course not. Of course it's showing the broken chat, so let me fix that one sec. Simple fix, I think it's a simple fix. Pop out chat. There we go. Live chat. Sorry about this, guys. This is the beauty of live, guys. You know, watching people try and fix things as they go through. So let me update this to our chat link because I know Gary's in there chatting right now. Let's go ahead and get that swapped in. There we go. Perfect. So now we have the chat on the screen, which side? Over here. So if you guys do drop in and ask a question or a comment or anything along the way, it'll pop up there on the screen so we can keep a running ticker of that. So awesome that I got that working now. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and dive right into this, guys, because there's a lot to talk about with this. So let's see if my fancy switching works today. There we go. So like I said, this is the edelkrone motion kit. Basically, that's what's attached to this, but at the heart of this down here is the edelkrone SliderPlus. This is actually the SliderPLUS Pro XL, so it's the longest one that they make, and it's able to handle the most weight. But the SliderPlus has been it came out several years ago, and it's kind of a remarkable slider because it'll actually, on a tripod, go double its length. I actually do have a review that I did like 3 years ago of just this slider module right here, the SliderPLUS Pro XL. And I'll put a link in the description down below. Actually, I believe it's already down there for you guys, so you can go ahead and check out all the details on that if somehow you've been living under a rock and didn't know about the edelkrone SliderPlus. And if you didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you there. But let's take a quick look at it. So the SliderPlus is the base of this, so it's right here, and of course it has a couple of add-ons that turn it into what they call the motion kit. So the first add-on is this slide module over here, and what this allows it to do, let's go ahead here, so here's our top-down view. So this just attaches to the end of the slider, and it has a little motorized gear in here that goes along this, this toothed belt. and allows it to slide the carriage back and forth. I can actually do it manually even while this is on here, but it has a bit of resistance. But yeah, so it's a slider back and forth. And so obviously I'm doing this manually at the moment, but the idea is that with, get it locked back in the middle, that with this slide module, that becomes motorized. So there's a few other components to this as well. This right here is what they call the head module, and this is a motorized pan. So it controls your pan right there. Very simple and straightforward, not how much more I can say about that. And then here on the side, it also has an axis to control the tilt. So it also tilts on here. And you can do everything manually like I am right now. It has a little bit of resistance, not hurting it. But obviously this is meant to be controlled via the app so that you can program moves, do motion control, you can do time lapses, you can just do regular motorized slides or anything like that. And then there's one final piece to this puzzle. I'll swing this around here. And that's this guy right here. Sorry, it's a little bit out of focus. This is the focus module. Ironic there, isn't it? Focus module is out of focus, but it has a gear, and it attaches to your lens. So I have a Rokinon Cinema lens on here right now, which means it does already have the gearing. This butts up right to that, and then this also connects via a cable into the whole system, so you can control everything there. So what you've got, switch. Sorry guys, play with my remote here. There we go. So what you've got with this system is not only your slider, but now you've motorized slide, pan, tilt, and focus. So you have multiple axes, including the focus, that you can control with this, and that makes it really cool. There's a lot of motion control slider systems out there. I know Kessler Crane is a big one. iFootage has a lot of really great stuff now. I've never owned any of their motion control units. I opted to go for this guy. And let's see if I can boot it up for you guys and get it working and just show you a little bit of how it works. So what do I need to do here? I'm going to switch to our top view. All right, so it runs, you can plug a whole bunch of different battery options into it. You can order it with a plate of your choice for batteries. I happen to have a ton of Canon LP6 batteries around, so I use those and they run it just fine. Takes 2 of them. What you do is plug it in, and that'll actually turn it on. Hopefully. Did it chirp? Watch it not work. Interesting. Well, it's supposed to just boot up. Maybe I didn't seat them properly. Anyway. And so what you do to control this is actually you control it through an app on your phone. So let's go ahead and get my phone opened up here. Sorry, I don't have a direct feed for the phone, guys, but I'm going to go ahead on in. And I have so many apps. Where's my filmmaking folder? There it is. And SliderPLUS. So it's going to search for the device. I don't know if it booted up. I had enough battery issues. These guys said they were fully charged, just like my microphone batteries. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to pop off camera again for just 1 second and go grab some other LPE6 batteries and see if we can get this thing going, because I think once again I had some battery chargers lying to me about the charge on my batteries. Hang on just 1 sec, guys. I've got them right here. Shaping up to be quite a show today, isn't it? Let's see what we've got here. Gary's in here chatting away. He says, I have the Syrup Magic Carpet and a Genie. Yeah, so Syrup was a company that started off with kind of DIY ones. They just made little motors and you would tie like a string and it would pull and stuff like that. But they've been coming out with some amazing motion control stuff. So there are definitely other options other than this one. And this one is not cheap. I think the motion control kit accessories alone were like $3,000 or something like that. So it's not a cheap investment. And I'm not really giving it the, there we go, it chirped, must have been the batteries. Not really giving it a great demo right now, but it does work fantastic actually. I have used this on a bunch of shoots, and actually there's a link to a behind the scenes video in the description down below of a shoot that I recently did in Dallas, Texas. I called it overly epic behind the scenes because I put some really epic music behind it. But it does show some of the setup of this using the Panasonic GH5 and some of the footage we were able to get using it as a constant movement, little parallax effect for just a sit-down interview, and it looked fantastic. Okay, you've got to be kidding me, guys. This is the most realistic live show you will ever see. I have to update the firmware on this. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let that do that. I'm gonna go ahead back into the chat, and then we're gonna also real quick take a look at basically what is replacing this. So I don't even believe that you can order this particular configuration anymore. I think edelkrone has moved on to bigger and better. And they've come out with something called the HeadPLUS, which sort of streamlines all of this stuff that you see going on up here. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna check the chat real quick. Gary says, does this one mount to a tripod? So yes, Gary, underneath this, there is a tripod mount which allows it to slide double its length. As it stands right now, I have it just on the table, on the feet, so it only slides the length of itself right there. But let me go ahead and pull up the new guy here. Sorry, you're gonna get a little inception here for a minute, guys. I don't have multiple screens. Boop, there's your inception. Okay, you should be seeing this now. So here we go. This is the new streamlined version of it. This is called the HeadPLUS. It was just recently announced by edelkrone. And like I said, this is going to replace the motion kit. So you can see it does the same kind of thing. It's got a pan axis, it's got a tilt axis, and it has that same focus module there, all still controlled via an app. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Here you can see exact same configuration using the existing slide module, the existing focus module, and it has these feet. I believe the newer SliderPLUSs come with these feet, but the kit that I got actually included these feet in case you had an older model slider, like I did. And so here we go. So the world's smartest motorized pan and tilt head. Okay, we'll see about that. So yeah, fast and simple programming, target locking. So you can lock onto a person or an object or something like that, and it'll actually track, and you can program at certain points, and as it slides, it will track that. And here is a new thing that they have that I really want to see. It actually has a laser. So there's, here it is right here. So here you go, Gary, you can see it on the tripod setup, so you can see how it slides double its length in that configuration there. But yeah, so there's the laser module here. A laser meter designed for HeadPLUS. Laser module enables instant distant measurement and makes it super quick for HeadPLUS to lock onto stationary subjects. It's a very useful add-on, especially when you're operating 4-axis, pan, tilt, focus, and slide motions. So I'm pretty interested in how that will work. The only other times that I've seen something like that was from Red Rock Micro a long time ago. They had their sort of like sonar rangefinder, like tape things to measure distances. So this, instead of having to set your focus, it should be able to detect the distance and use the focus wheel to actually set your focus, which is pretty cool. Again, this is all in theory. Nobody seems to have these on hand yet. They're saying October, so we'll see. But even without it, I've been very happy with how my module has performed, so let's keep going through. So yeah, SliderPLUS with slide module, same focus module. The app, we'll look at it a little bit. They've got some demo things on here. So I've got a link to this down in the description down below, guys, because obviously they have a lot of information about how this thing packs up and all that kind of stuff for you to go ahead and check out. Lots of demo videos. But here is what I'm really excited about. Right now, this module, I forget what the weight limit is, but right now I've got a 5D Mark III on it. Usually I wouldn't go much heavier than this. It doesn't seem to struggle at all, but it is beefy. I do have a heavy full frame lens on there. It does fine with my GH5, but I do have the Ursa Mini 4.6K, and I would love to use it in a system like this, and it looks like you're going to be able to. They're coming out with a HeadPLUS Pro that is supposed to hold up to 20 pounds. So that's 20 pounds that the head module itself can handle, so that's only your camera there. Of course, you're going to want to have a SliderPLUS Pro, the Pro level, so that it can support the weight of the camera rig and the head itself. And if you do put it on a tripod, you're going to want to make sure you have a tripod that can handle the slider, the head, and the camera weight. So there's going to be a lot involved, but I would love to be able to put my Ursa Mini, and they even have the Ursa Mini shown here, on a system like this. So the only thing that's being replaced with the HeadPLUS or the HeadPLUS Pro is actually the head unit right here. So let me pull that up. Sorry for inception here again, guys. We're gonna go to our main camera. So the only thing that's really being replaced is this head unit right here. So this is their old head module, and this is going to be replaced by the new HeadPLUS. You're still going to have the same focus motor because it'll just plug and play, connect right into it. Let me show you guys that real quick. All these units connect through these like Ethernet style cables. So the slide module will remain the same, so that'll still work. And then here's a cable connector right here. The focus module will stay the same right there. So the head module itself is going to be replaced by the HeadPLUS. That's what you need to know. Following with my updates. Sorry guys, bear with me. There we go. Trying to do my updates as we do everything here. So let's quit the app. There we go. Guess I should have worried less about getting everything in the multicam to work and more about getting the product itself that we're looking at to work. But you know what? What are you gonna do? It's live. So, so here we go. We're gonna go to our top down, and I'm gonna get this booted up for you guys here. So your functionality should be roughly the same with the new HeadPLUS. The one thing I did forget to mention is that new HeadPLUS says it'll hold up to 10 pounds. So that is extended even beyond the weight capacity of this one right here, meaning it can hold some pretty beefy cameras. You could probably put like a C200 or something on there depending on how you have it rigged out. But even just that HeadPLUS is going to be able to hold more than this, which is always a good thing. So I'd rather have more weight capacity than less. Okay, so let me get to my app here. It's asking me if I'm on a tripod or on the ground. I'm going to say I'm on the ground. It's telling me to just make sure everything's aligned. Yep, good enough. And then it's going to ask me what lens I have on there. So I have the Rokinon 24mm. I've actually got a profile for that lens in there already, so it knows where it is in focus at certain distances. They have a huge library of these, so you don't have to program your own in, but it does come with a chart for you to go through the process, and the app will lead you through to custom input your own lenses. So nothing to worry about there, but I'm going to go ahead and hit 24mm t1.5. And you can see it starts moving here. It's locating the ends, the stops on my lens, and it's good to go. That's it right there. So what we'll do, I don't have a feed directly from this, and the camera's not even on, but I want to show you guys basically the motion. So I can manually slide this. Let me unlock her with just my finger. I can start moving it side to side on the slide. But of course, you've seen motorized sliders before, and the real beauty of this is being able to set up multiple positions to do. So let's go ahead to this right here. Let's go to camera 2. So what we're going to do is I want to set up a position. So say I want to start right there so I can position it. So say I'm looking at something right there. What I'll do is on my app, it says point A. Okay, I held and pressed and set point A. Now what I'm going to do, let's see if I remember how to do this properly. I'm going to, let's say we want it to come over here, and I want it to end, you know, maybe I have something on the table over here that I want it to end to. Hold point B there. Let's go to our overhead and see if you can see it doing its move here. And now I believe I should be able to hit go. And now it's moving, but it's not doing that. Okay, okay, so I was just messing with the slide there. So let's stop that. What I need to do is, where's my key pose? Sorry about this, guys. So let's set one there. So the reason I'm having to pull on this is just because of the resistance of the motor in here, guys. Don't worry, I'm not breaking anything. I'm just moving it to get it into position. Set it to key pose B, and then loop A to B. So there we go. Now it's starting and it's making that move. So I was able to really quickly set my positions there, and now this thing should be looping between those 2 points and the 2 targets that I set for it. There's a ton of stuff in this app and a ton of ways to set this thing up, guys, so I'm not going to go into depth of everything about the app and how to set it up, because there's time-lapse modes, there's all sorts of ramping and speed adjustments. There's obviously the simple keyframing and looping like I just did here really quickly. But there's a lot of stuff you can do with this, and it really is a really good, really reliable motion control unit. You can hear it's relatively quiet, you know, so you can have it in a room where you're doing an interview. You might want to keep it a little bit farther back from where your microphone is, because it does generate some noise from the slide module. But you know, overall, it's a really cool unit, and I have been finding new ways to use it. I haven't done any time-lapse with it yet, but I really do want to get into doing some time-lapse. So let's see what we've got in the chat here real quick. So Gary says, I gotta say, your setup there for live shows is awesome. So thank you, Gary. This actually is my studio where I record my pre-recorded shows as opposed to doing live. But out of necessity, I had to bring this thing down to somewhere where I had space. And I managed to, this morning, figure out I have HDMI cables and SDI cables and converters and all sorts of stuff running all over the place in here. And I managed to reconfigure them so that I can actually run everything directly into a laptop here. And it seems to have been working, just using an HDMI switcher box over there that's remote controlled to be able to go ahead and stream out to you. Here, I can even show you, I can do the usual, what I see when I'm filming is not that. There you go. I usually see a quad screen like this so that I can monitor all of my angles as I'm going. I know this is a little, here I'll clear the chat off of the screen for you so you can see. But there you go, you get a little quad view. So there's a little behind the scenes of what I got going on down here. So I might do more live shows down here. But as you can see, this guy is just gonna run and repeat that motion over and over and over again. I can program multiple points into it so that I can have it, come on. You know, I can have it hit one target, move to another target, something like that. I can set the focus distances so that it'll pull focus as it goes. In theory, that new HeadPLUS with that laser, when you point it at something, you should be able to say, this is my target, and it'll know the focus because it's already mapped your lens or has a profile for your lens. So you won't have to sit there and set the focus at each point. It knows based on that laser what it's doing. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a real simple thing, and it's real powerful because everything is controlled from within this app. And I even have barely scratched the surface of what you can do with it. Like I said, it is an investment. It's not cheap. Those you know, eye-footed shark sliders, I was looking at them. They're about half the price of this thing. And they weren't available when I needed this. So I went with this instead, and I already had the SliderPLUS Pro itself. So I picked it up. But yeah, it is quite an investment. But I see myself using it on more professional projects where it's going to pay for itself over time, but definitely not something that someone's going to pick up to mess around with, you know, if you're just sort of a hobbyist, I guess. But, you know, possibility of something to rent. I know I rent mine out on the website KitSplit, so maybe take a look if it is something you want to get into, because it's really smooth. You can control the speeds, you can control the dampening, you can control pretty much absolutely everything on this. You just got to get familiar with the interface of the app. Which does change from time to time because they keep pushing out updates, but you know what? Frequent updates is better than a company just releasing something and never improving it. So I know there have been some great firmware updates to this even since I have owned it that have improved its functionality. This keyframe mode didn't exist the first time. You had to use targets. And I contacted them and was like, you know what? I just want to be able to set a path for it and have it do it. You know, why can't it do that? And then a week later, they released a firmware update and an app update, and it does it. So it's fantastic there. Let's see if we got any questions coming in. Gary, you are stealing the show today, my man. I appreciate that. Let's see what you got here. How does the time-lapse work? Good question. So right now I have the, let me pause this. Right now I have the 5D Mark III on here. And if you set to do a time lapse, like most other things, you need to be able to trigger your camera. Well, if you look, I know we're not zoomed in very much right here, but if you look right here on the top, I'll swing this around, there's a little like Lank style remote port right here. And when you order this, you can select one cable that comes with it, I think, for a camera of your choice, or you can order extra ones. They're like $10 a piece, so I got a Panasonic one and a Canon one. But let me grab that for you. Here we go. If you guys ever get Western Digital drives that come in these little sleeves, keep them because they make awesome little carriers for cables and stuff like that. So I think this is it. So here you go. This is the Canon cable right here. I know you can't really see it, but trust me. And what you would do is you would put it in here, you would plug it into the remote port on your camera, and then this is going to take its commands from the app and is going to move, trigger the camera, move, trigger the camera, just like any other motion control slider that's capable of time-lapse does. So yeah, you can get cables, and they have cables for pretty much every type of camera out there. Hang on. Pretty much every type of camera out there that can take a remote to trigger it, they've pretty much got it. So nice flexible stuff there. So there's Canon one, and here is a Panasonic. But yeah, so there we go. So yeah, and you can do, for time-lapse, you can just do a move like I just did, like program your start and your end point, and then it does have a button in the app to just convert that move to a time-lapse. So you can program your keyframes where you want it to start and end, and anywhere in the middle if you want, and then tell it to convert it to a time-lapse. It'll prompt you for how long do you want your final clip to be, what's your frame rate, all that stuff it needs to do to calculate for you, and then it just does the work, goes and runs with it, and it's good to go. Let me take a drink of water here. Okay. So obviously a very cool piece of kit here. You know, really well made, really innovative, like everything from edelkrone. This being the now already outdated version with the head module, the motion kit is what they call it as a bundle. You know, 5D Mark III with cinema lens, probably getting towards the top of its weight capacity range right here. Handles GH5 with most of the lenses I have, absolutely no problem. But that new HeadPLUS even just the standard HeadPLUS is going to replace this and is going to be capable of holding 10 pounds, and then they have that Pro unit that's going to be coming out that can hold up to 20, which I am really excited about because that is perfect for my Ursa Mini. This remote is so janky. Made in China, but it's awesome. And so that'll be perfect for cameras like the Ursa Mini and stuff like that. Depending on the size of your rig, like I said, even on the HeadPLUS, you can probably fit something like a C200 or something like that and be able to do it. And so now that you've seen sort of the form factor of this, where it's kind of just this tower and this popping off to the side, I want to take one more quick look at the new one and show you a little bit of the difference here. So sorry guys, inception time. Bing. All right, here we go. All right, so take a look at this right here. As you can see, instead of hanging the camera off of the side, it sort of centers its weight on the pan axis there, which I think allows it to have a lot more strength and a lot more stability. You can also see here it's it's got pretty much the same kind of build with this camera platform that attaches in the focus module. Obviously they showed how this folds down so that it can be packed away nicely. It's definitely larger than the existing head module, but it does have this new design that sort of keeps the camera center of mass. So as this thing swivels around, it's not having to work so hard, having the camera hanging off the side, as opposed to if the center attachment point was here, like it currently is. And then of course HeadPLUS Pro, where you can attach V-mount batteries to it. Looks like this has some batteries attached right to the side of it. So my guess is this requires additional power. It's not sharing power from the slide module like it currently does. So I'm sure you can get your option of different battery plates on there. And then the HeadPLUS Pro here, you can get all the way up to Pro V-mount batteries, which is freaking awesome. Let's see here. There was one thing I wanted to show you guys. Let's take a look at the price. So if we were going to go ahead and pre-order this beast, we go here, and it ain't cheap. So the HeadPLUS unit looks like, here you can choose your cables and stuff like that and your battery brackets. Is $1849. Slide module, if you buy it separately, laser module is $369. So you're looking at $2,000 or more for that HeadPLUS. And actually, it looks like September 7th is when they're expecting that one. And then when we get to the HeadPLUS Pro, you're looking at $2649 for that guy. October 5th is what they're looking for. So that is, yeah, that's hefty for sure. Let's get back here. Let's go to our live chat. Okay, so, but, there's a but. There's one cool thing here. If you're like me and you are already an owner of the current motion kit with this now outdated head module here, Edelkrone is offering a free upgrade to the HeadPLUS. So absolutely free. All you have to do is send back your head module, which includes this, this mounting bracket here. So you send that back to them, and when it's available, they will send you a HeadPLUS, because like I said, the slide module is the same and the focus module is the same. So you hang on to those, and just this core, pan and tilt function part of the body is getting replaced. So there is a link in the description below. If you are already an owner of this, you can go ahead and get the upgrade. I know I definitely am planning on getting that upgrade. And in the future, probably not quite yet, I do also plan on getting that HeadPLUS Pro so that I can utilize this setup and this system to do motorized slides and motion control with my Ursa Mini, because it's probably pushing the weight limit on the HeadPLUS, but the Pro, it's going to be absolutely no problem. So let's take a peek at the chat here. Hang on. And let me know, guys, if you're watching, if you have any questions about the existing module here, because I have had it for, I guess, probably like 7 or 8 months now. So I can answer questions about this, and I do have that link in the description down below where I have a review from 3 years ago of just the slider portion of this setup. So you can check that out. Let's see what we've got here. Gary's asking, can it be powered from an AC unit? Yes, it can. So let's see, maybe the top down will show this best. All right, so right here, I don't want to unplug everything because it's powered on, but if you see right here, I guess I can, we're done with it, right? This battery plate is swappable real easily, and it actually just connects to it with a DC barrel plug. So there's a DC in port right here that you can attach to, but it comes with an AC adapter. So if you want to run it on AC power and not worry about batteries, you just pop that out and plug it in, and then it'll run for freaking forever there, or until the power goes out. I've never killed it, drained 2 batteries, because it does require both to run. And I've never depleted it with 2 of them on there, because they're pretty good batteries. But, you know, if you ran it for a full day continuously doing, you know, a whole bunch of interviews or something like that, you might want a few more batteries, or like you said, you might want to run AC power out of there. And the app is searching for it. All right, so I think that's about it, guys. Gary, I really appreciate you being in here and hanging out and asking questions. If you do have any more before I get out of here, please let me know. But yeah, I wanted to share this with you guys. It had been about 3 weeks since I'd done a live show because I was traveling all over the place, Iceland, and was just in Rio. Actually, I'm wearing a t-shirt from a brewery that I went to in Iceland because I love beer, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, so really glad to be back with you guys. This is something I wanted to share with you. I was planning on doing a review of the motion kit at some point in the future, but when I woke up today and I saw the ad for the HeadPLUS, that plan went right out the window. So my plan now is to get this puppy upgraded, and as soon as that comes in, I will do a proper review of the latest iteration of this with the HeadPLUS unit on there. So that is the plan for the future, guys. So if you do want to see that when it happens, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe and click that notification bell down below. I have plenty of content coming out in addition to eventually that HeadPLUS review. Yeah, make sure you don't miss any of it, and make sure you're subscribed down there. Let's see if we've got anything else before I head out of here. Let's see here. Gary says thank you and loved the Iceland video. Yeah, thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. I put together a just for fun, I call them cinematic shorts, but video from my trip to Iceland. Had some cool drone stuff in there, some awesome GH5 footage and stuff like that. So I'll put a link in the description down below for you guys so that you can check that out. And if you guys want to see more live kind of talks and demos of stuff, hopefully they go a little bit smoother than today's did. You know, battery's dead. 2 sets of batteries dead. Mic battery's dead, device battery's dead, and then firmware updates necessary. But, you know, it's a learning process. If you guys want to see more like this, and maybe go live from my studio space as opposed to my desk and show off some gear to you guys, let me know. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know by giving this video a like. That'd be awesome. I really appreciate it. But anyway,